What on earth are you doing under there? You made like a little tunnel. Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Didsbury Art Studio and I'm Sally. And in today's video, what we're going to be doing is several different techniques to do with the material Sinamay, which is a material that we use in millinery. So shall we get straight into it? To begin with, then I've got just under 1 metre in width of the Sinamay, and I think it's 21 inches down. Yep. And what I'm going to do is just fold over Sinamay into a triangle shape, and then I'm just going to fold over the edges. The reason why I'm doing this is because we want to be... I'm just going to cut up there. The bit that we're going to use is across the grain, which is over here. So when you look at the Sinamay, you can see this cross shape, and that's where we want to go. It's across the bias, so it's going to help us stretch the Sinamay as we go along. What I'm going to do is just cut along that fold. And I've got this Sinamay from Etsy. So now what I want to do is I'm going to use 3 inches across. And I'm just using my chalk pencil to mark that off. I'm going to use 3 inches, but when we start rolling the Sinamay, it's going to obviously shrink the width, so it's going to be much thinner. So the one that I've bought from Etsy, it is quite stiff, which is good actually. But if it isn't as stiff as you would like, because the stiffer the Sinamay, the easier it's going to work, then you can always use a stiffener on it. To begin with, to roll the edges, we are just going to fold over the edge of your Sinamay, just a short, small width, like so, and you just do a bit at a time. And I'm not gonna lie, when I first did this, I was like, Sinamay is so hard to work with, but you can get some really good results, obviously, with it. And I'll remember, if I try and remember to put some examples of using the Sinamay in hats. And so we're literally just folding it over like so, and you're just using your thumbs like that to just bend that over and roll, and we can be pulling the Sinamay to get that stretch in. And I'm just manipulating it like so. It is rough on the old hands. I remember coming away from the hat making courses in Stockport, just like my fingers were so dry, but I loved it. So turn those over like that. And turn it that way if you feel better with that. And this is called hopefully you're getting the gist. So turn over a small edge and then like this. I'm going to do that all the way around. And just to say, stick at it, don't give up. Keep that roll nice and slim, and bear with it. It's going to take a bit of time. Don't be tempted to drench it in water. However, if you get really desperate, you can put like a little spray on the edge there, but honestly, I wouldn't. I find it better to leave it dry. And we're getting to the other end here. And once I've got all the way around, I'll show you what to do next. And then for the ends, I'm just doing exactly the same. Curling that over. So I've done that now, and because we cut it on the bias, we can then just stretch this. Can curl over any little bits like that. Twist the end. And there we go. Now that the Sinamay is done, you can see how flexible it is and what we can do with it. So you can just literally just play around, and it's such lovely material. And just twist it around anything really. And you can dampen it with steam. Pull that off. I just love that, that's gorgeous. So a hat that I'd made, well, this is the top bit of the hat. So you can see that you can play around with a couple of different colours and then twist them and hand stitch them onto your hat. Yeah, so this is the hat that I made a while ago, and you can see that you can put on there. And that's really effectively what you can do with this. Let me just get a Sinamay base, which actually I've bought from Parkins Fabric quite a while ago. And that's what obviously we've just made. And then you can just play around with where you want it to go. And you can be threading this through, just like a little knot. And then when you've got the position that you want, grab the pins and just pop it in there for now, just to position it. I mean, it's quite nice when you're playing around, and I've said this before with artwork, but it's quite nice to just take photographs as you go along for ideas so that you can keep them and then reflect back about what worked best. But that's fascinator that I'd made before, and you can see again I've just twisted that around and swirled it into a flower shape there, which we'll do in a bit if we've got time. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do, it's got a slightly different peachy colour of Sinamay here. I'm just going to put a semicircle on the bias cut. Next up, what we're going to do is exactly the same rolled edge, and we're going to do it all the way around the curve, and then I'll show you what we're going to do with them. And then once we've rolled over the edges like so, just give it a little bit of a stretch there to make sure those rolls are really in place. If they're coming undone slightly, just twist it over a little bit more and then shape it. Like so. Okay, and then what you want to do is just roll in this first little section here, doing that quite tight. And then I'm just going to fold those out. It just gives the little impression of a flower. So we can just clip that in place. You could get a couple of those and have those on your piece. We'll play around with those in a bit. And next up, I'm going to do a leaf. So I've literally just drawn out a leaf shape there. And again, it's still on the cross, on the bias. So this is very similar to the last one that we've just done. You can make them any sizes you want, really. And then we go for it with the rolling again. Just going to stretch it. Like so. And then that's quite a big leaf. You can twist that and work with that. You can make them smaller. So you could make obviously bigger flowers. And it's just about playing around with them, I've found. Are you interested in this, Layla? Are you? So the next one that we're going to do is a Sinamay lily. So I've got a square here, folded it in half, like so, made a little edge just by pressing down. And then I'm just going to nip off the top like so. And then I'm going to fold in up to this corner, just a small amount, like that. And then I'm also going to do the same width that way. So, and then you can see that that gets tucked under like so, and you just level those off. No, Layla, you come back. Come back to visit me. So once I've got that done, I've got a tucked inside and I've got a raw edge over this side. What are you up to, Layla? Come here. Come here. Here she is. Okay, so I've got the tucked inside and the raw edge, and I'm going to fold. I'm going to tuck that in. Just trying to make sure it's all right in. So once you've done that, you'll be sewing down as far as you can go, double thread down here, because obviously this bit here, if you put it on a fascinator, like we're hoping to do, seeing a lot of this stitching it's going to be on display. So make sure that's nice and neat, and then you can do a little bit more stitching on the back there. But this edge here, you can also use glue gun, by the way, if you don't want to stitch. This edge here is on the bias, so we can also fold and pull that around to sculpt it a little bit more. Layla. So I'm just going to hold it with a clip. Layla. And you can see on this fascinator that I've done a lily here, and then I just got these little beads. I think I got those from Country Baskets, and I've just used those as the stamen, so that's quite a nice feature. Last thing I want to do today is, so this one is going to provide us with a Sinamay bias strip. So what we do is we just fold it in half. Layla, the cat, is just bombing it around with a leftover bit of Sinamay. She's funny. Let's go and see her. What's going on there? Okay, where was I? So we're going to fold in the Sinamay to the centre like this. Just pressing it down as we go along. And then we're going to do exactly the same on this side. And then we're going to fold that over. Pressing down. We can just trim off that edge and that edge. And then once you've ironed it, that's what it looks like. And we can sort of twist it, roll it. Slide it off. You can make these longer, you can make them wider. Want to get this kind of slimmer, so say you wanted to put it around a pencil, for example, you can also do that and steam it from the steam of the iron. And just see how this is on here. This is obviously without the steam. So I've made a couple of other colours of that, and I've literally just twisted them around and pinned them down. So, you know, you can add a few colours in there. Hey! And we can mix up everything that we've made, pop different sort of pieces in. And you just play around, really. So just going back to the things that I've made today, we've got obviously the rolled edge, and we can play around with that. Lots of twisting, something like that. pin that in. And then we've got this smaller one. Give it a bit of height. Whoa! Okay. I have to just pin that in a bit more. Playing really. Keep looking all the way around to see what it looks like. We have got our little flowers. Oh, what does that look like at the back? That's quite nice. Pop a pin in there. And then I've got a huge lily here, which is probably going to be too much with this because it's too big. That would probably go on a bigger hat base. And then we've got a leaf here as well. I've just pinned on all the twists and the little flowers over here. Haven't done anything with the leaf just yet. Just wondering if it's enough. Actually, that's quite nice. Just about finding where you want things to go, really. That's kind of just there. So there we have it. I hope you enjoyed my video today, and if you did, do give me a big like. Show me that you enjoyed this video and that perhaps you would like me to do some more like this. And thank you so much for subscribing to me, and if you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe button, and I shall see you next week. Take care of yourselves, see you shortly. Bye!